Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending upon where you are. This is Steve with Real Progressives, and I want to touch on something very, very important that our democracy and our futures both depend on. The concerns that all of us should have as it pertains to fair elections, as it pertains, in fact, to how we actually pay for the agendas that we want to have. We have found ourselves stuck in a situation where people see it either as one or the other. Like we either have to focus only on fixing our electoral system, or we can worry about how we get a progressive agenda paid for. And either one of them is both mutually very fucking important, okay? I have found myself thinking, what happens if, God forbid, we have these great, awesome elections? What happens if they're all of a sudden available to everybody and everybody's so thrilled and they're voting? It's not an issue. We've got the machines fixed up. Everything is so perfect and awesome, right? But then we've got a bunch of idiots out there that don't understand that the United States isn't broke, that we can afford everything we need to afford, and they're still running around saying really, really horrible, horrible things. And then we're stuck sitting there with free and fair elections, and we've got the right wing winning everything because our left wing is completely full of people that believe right wing lies about economics. So ultimately, it's up to us, you and I, to put on our thinking caps. You would never go out and tell the people fighting for single payer, hey guys, stop fighting for single payer. We have to, fix our election system before you worry about single payer healthcare. Stop fighting for that, because we got to worry about our election system, right? I mean, think about this for a minute. Think about the lunacy of the people that say that. And then flip over here on the other side. The folks that are sitting there saying, we got to fix our elections first before we talk about the environment, before we talk about any of the green energy, before we talk about infrastructure, before we talk about anything. Goddamn, we got to talk about fixing election fraud. We can't talk about anything else till we talk about election fraud. And after a while, you start realizing that this kneecapping that occurs by, I guess they're well-meaning. I struggle to figure out if they're well-meaning or not. I'm assuming they're well-meaning. They're just not the sharpest knife in the drawer, okay? So these individuals sit there and try and counteract all the efforts that activists are doing on these various subjects. And it's very, very important because it takes an awful long time to fix anything. It takes an awful long time to get people to wake up about how federal financing works. It takes an awful long time to get people to realize that having single-payer healthcare is already in place today, just so happens to be age-dependent. We have that with Medicare right now, but people don't realize it, so it takes a long time to get their brains wrapped around common sense and logic. And then when you tell them, by the way, we don't have time for you to get on board about the environment. We got to fix it now. We can't afford for you to figure out that debt and deficits are a big lie that keep us down. We've got to fix it now because we're going to die. And it won't make a bit of difference about how many debts and deficits we have if we don't fix this. And for all the kids that are out there friggin' strapped to the gills with friggin' student debt, they can't afford a life because they're stuck in mom's basement. They're the real basement dwellers because the system has forced them to take on insane amounts of debt just to survive, just to get a job. They've got to go out there and do some more corporate welfare. Because let's be fair, college being paid for out of the pockets of students is corporate welfare. That is corporate welfare. You want to talk about some corporate welfare? Let's talk about the student loan industry. That right there, my friends, is clearly the issue. And the reality is there's one entity in this whole bag of, tricks, one, that can afford to do all this stuff without raising a tax, without raising a nickel, without doing anything. That's our federal government. It's the creator of the U.S. dollar. And so when we say that, these folks saunter about talking about how, well, we got to talk about fair elections. We got to talk about our voting system. Stop talking to me about economics. I don't care about economics. Economics doesn't matter. Who gives a shit about economics? Economics is stupid. Why are you talking about economics? Let's worry about voting. Because God damn it, we don't have to know anything about economics to talk about voting. We can stay stupid and stuck, and we can talk about voting. Fist in the air. Hello, fist, fist, fist in the air. Folks, there are serious things going on. I don't know if you realize this or not, but the EPA was put into existence under a right-wing Republican. Okay, you could call him a cloth coat Republican. You could call him a great many things, but Tricky Dick went ahead and put the EPA in. And I don't think he did it because he's just such a great guy. I think he did it because there was a lot of pressure put on him by real revolutionaries fighting against the system. Those same revolutionaries are telling us we can't talk about such things right now because we got to worry about fixing the voting system first. Because without putting pressure on the powers that be, we've got nothing. And then we've got another situation where our friends on the left are telling us, hey, stop worrying about the Democrats because we need to work outside the two-party system. Well, I agree with you on many levels, but guess what, Snapper? They're in there fucking passing legislation now. We've got to put pressure on them today. If they fear us, they will listen to us. But if they don't fear us because you're too busy being a cool guy, sitting off in the corner, talking about nonsense, worrying about the fucking Rothschilds and Soros and all these other inactionable things, if you're stuck in that world, worrying about the deep state, tell me what you're going to do with the deep state, my friends. Are you going to go out there and break out some Uzi 9mm is not a tumor and go after the frickin' deep state? What are you doing? For real. I mean, I beg you, tell me what you're doing. You're doing nothing, not a goddamn thing. Okay, so while you're sweating the deep state, while you're sitting there sweating all these powers that be and so forth, I'm trying to let you know at the end of the day, the only thing they fear is a enlightened, educated population that'll actually demand that you serve us. They don't care about all this, man, I saw something about the deep state and my God, woo! They don't care. That doesn't do anything to get good. They're good and distracted. Let's keep extracting wealth from the fucking bottom. Let's keep on friggin' financializing their debt and earning interest on our yacht. Let's keep doing that. Okay? That's what they think about when you start waxing poetic about the deep state. I'm not joking. They don't care. You can't do anything about it. They have got you sidelined. They've got you off on the side, chasing ghosts, doing nothing. Doing absolutely none-ya. Now, you're free to do that. It's a free country. There is no test that says in order to be a citizen, you've got to be intelligent. You could be dumb. You can do these things. It's a perfectly legitimate, well, not legitimate, it's legal. Let's put it that way. There's no law against being stupid. But there is a law against blocking smart people from doing smart things. I don't know what it is yet, but if I could ever be president, I'd make it a fucking law. Dumb people can vote, but they vote in like a fake election. They're like the current system. They get to use the current system where they don't get their vote counted. They get to drop a thing in there, I'm just messing around, guys. I'm just fucking with you, okay? So at the end of the day, though, we have a sacred responsibility to be walking and chewing gum at the same time. I know that sounds crazy. We got to learn to walk and chew gum at the same time. Because while we're sitting here talking about voting and we're talking about a whole bunch of other important factors, huge factors, tearing the fucking Democratic Party to the ground, seriously, destroying it, whatever. But ultimately what we need to do is we need to make sure that the next wave of people understands what the fuck's going on. If these people don't understand that taxes don't fund spending, when they go and put these great bills in front of Congress, the Republicans are going to do what? Bingo. They're going to cancel it out. They're going to shit on it. They're going to dump it down. Oh, wait, hold on. Did you say that Dianne Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi would do the same thing? Oh, snap. I think you might be right. So it's not just the Republicans, is it? It's the fucking Democrats, too. Holy shit burgers, Batman. We got a coup. We got to do something crazy, man. We got to enlighten people. We got to make them smart. And the people that want to flail about the deep state, okay, are sitting there sidelining our team. They're taking them out of the game. They're putting on inactionable items. They're putting them on the deep stupid. The bottom line is we, as lefties, are left with nothing. We keep rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, trying to figure out the right way to make this happen, when reality is, I'm telling you straight up, we can build the largest coalition of all time with enlightened people, because there are Republicans, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I'm cool with it. There are Republicans out there that love their families too. It's shocking, I know, but they do. And there are even some Democrats out there who I think might love their families if they understood this stuff. MMT does not have to be implemented. MMT, let's get this straight. If anybody wants to do a soundbite, here it goes. MMT is an accurate scientific description of the way federal financing works in the United States from 1971 to present. It's also a description of currency all over the world. Wherever currency exists, MMT describes it. So why they call it that is because there's probably some friggin' crackerjack currency somewhere that they haven't fully done the vetting out. But they have thoroughly done the vetting of the United States down to the nth degree. And what they have said is this: we're not telling you what to do. MMT works for Republicans, and it works for Democrats, and it works for Greens and socialists and other people in the world. It doesn't matter. It is simply a description of how it works today. And for those who say we got to implement it, or, oh, it's good in theory. No, it's not good in theory. It's a fucking description of how it is today, you knucklehead. Stop saying in theory like you've got some enlightenment beyond your means. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Shut up. Just shut up. Seriously, shut up. The bottom line is that our system is there today, and it is being used to lethal precision by the right wing and the conservative Democrats. The boll weevils and the Republicans, the establishment, are using it to precision to extract the wealth from the 99% and financialize our debts, not the country's debts, ours, us little people. Our debts are being financialized, and that's how the rich are getting richer. And when we tell people it's not about taxing the rich that's going to fix income inequality, it's about giving a federal job guarantee to the people to make sure that the people don't have to go into debt to finance the rich. All of a sudden that wealth gap's gone. Woo! But I say that and people go, huh? And it's like, come on, dude. I can break this down to the nth degree. Don't go stupid. Listen, I promise. We're on the same team. The only difference is I know how this shit works. And it's not like I created it. I'm just John the Baptist. The Christ already did all the science. That's Mosler, Kelton, Pavlina Cherneva, L. Randall Wray. A whole cast of people have been studying all this stuff from 1971 to present, and they have packaged it together so that we can change the world. But instead, you guys want to quote Mises, fucking right-wing Mises. You want to quote Milton Friedman, right-wing Friedman. You guys don't even understand that Krugman 1 minute is saying deficits are good, the next minute saying deficits are bad. Krugman is a fake economist, a faux-economist, okay? The guy's a loser, a liar, a charlatan. It's like Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm not a race car driver, but damn it, I play one on TV. That's what Krugman is to the economics world. Okay? And what I'm trying to tell you is this. If you don't get your head wrapped around this, it won't matter if we have free and fair elections, because you'll still vote for some fool that sits there running around telling, well, how are we gonna pay for it, Chauncey? I don't know, Biff. How are we gonna pay for it? Well, I guess we're gonna have to find some tax money. Yeah, we'll have to find some tax money, all right. God damn, we're broke. The United States is broke. Wait, hold on. Tell me something, Snapper. How in the hell does the guy who creates the dollars, with keystrokes, mind you, how in the world is keystroke mania gonna go broke? How does that happen? Hook a brother up, because at this point in time, you're not making sense. You're not making sense. You're making no sense. So how is it that you could say the U.S. is broke when it is the keystroker? The keystroker! Wabash! Wabash! I mean, this is the easy stuff. See, if we could ever get past this part, the policy space we could talk about would blow your minds. We would have so much we could do. We could literally subsidize green energy yesterday so we could save our planet. And then we could go about soaking the rich later after we've gotten everybody alive, after we've made them alive and stuff, you know? I mean, this is the stuff I just don't understand, but there's like this sick perversion that's rampant through our midst that thinks somehow or another the only way that we can do this is to pluck dollars off of rich people like they grow on trees. Rich people are not the creator of the U.S. fucking dollar, folks. The United States government, when Congress says spend, damn it, guess what the Federal Reserve does? Okay, boss, I'll do it right now, boss. You got it, boss. They keystroke some things into the Treasury, the money gets spent. Money creation right there. Upon Congress, Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. Article 1 of Section 8 of the U.S. fucking Constitution, gang. You want to be a constitutional expert? Let's go to Article 1, Section 8 and get a little bit of fucking shit straight in between our ears. Congress made the Fed. Congress spoke the Fed into fucking existence. The fucking Fed didn't speak Congress into existence. No, the fucking Congress spoke the fucking Fed into existence. Do you see why we get frustrated with the knuckleheads out there? And the Fed, goddammit. And the Fed. And my name. Boom. Bumping their head on the fucking wall. And then the Fed. Jesus fucking H. Christ. We can do this today, folks. If you love your kids, don't let Congress get away with cutting spending. If you love your kids and love this planet and want to actually stay on it for a little while and want them to have a planet where there's fresh air and fresh water, if that's something you're kind of interested in, strong suggestion. Stop repeating moronic right-wing garbage. Stop repeating left LOL libertarian garbage like Ron Paul. Gold standard. But the money doesn't have no value to the money. The money is worthless. It's just a bunch of worthless money. Well, give me all your fucking worthless pieces of paper, fool. Fool Manchu. Give me all your money. If you think it's worthless, give it to me. Give it to me. It's worthless, right? Bullshit. Because if you go and you try and pay your taxes in gold, guess what they're going to do? Try and pay your taxes in gold nuggets. Bring a lump of, hey, Ron Paul said this was worth something or other per ounce. I'm here to pay my taxes in gold. They're going to say, get out of here. Just get out of here. Come back with some paper dollars. Then we'll think about it. Come back with your electronic dollars because we got to delete your taxes. That's what a tax does. Let's get it straight. Let's go through the birthing process of a dollar and the death of a dollar, right? The birthing process. Congress writes a bill. They keystroke it. And out come money. There's the birth of a dollar right there. Now, let's go ahead and kill the dollar. Let's go ahead and end the dollar. Hey, guys, we're going to raise tax. Okay, man. He sent his tax in? Yep. Okay, cool. I'm going to delete it right now. Boop. There was the life cycle of a dollar, friends. You're thinking about that piece of paper as the only representation of a dollar. Let me tell you, there's only a very, 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 very tiny amount of actual paper dollars in existence. The vast majority of our money is fucking digital. I didn't make it up. I'm just telling you the straight dope. What, are you going to print more money? No, I'm not going to fucking print money. I'm going to keystroke money. What, are you going to print it? You're going to print it? No, I'm not going to fucking print money. I am going to fucking keystroke it. But what about printing money? That's a fucking stupid gold bug idiocy. They're dumb. Smack them on the forehead and call them Chauncey. Okay? Fucking smack them on the forehead, plop an L on there and call them a her. I mean, seriously, folks, we don't print the money, We're just going to keep the printing press going, guys, because we're going to print more money. We don't have any more money. We're going to print it. No. Keystroke City. But we put it on the government credit card. There is no fucking government credit card. We write the fucking bills. We fucking create the money. We fucking spend the money. Then we tell you guys we're broke so we can keep you begging and keep you spending and keep you in debt so the wealthy get rich off of your interest. It's simple. It's fucking so simple. It is so simple a caveman could do it. But yet there are people flailing about talking about deep states and stuff like that, and they don't know this stuff. And I'm trying to tell you that while we can certainly solve our election problem, you can certainly solve our voting problem by demanding we fix it, we can also flip around, and this is going to shock the piss out of you, we can also flip around and demand that the Pete Peterson Foundation shut up about fix the debt. We can also demand and lock arms just like we're at a pipeline, damn it. We can lock arms just like we're at a fucking pipeline against these economic terrorists. You want to get some fucking real good buzzwords out there? These people talking about debt and deficits, they are economic terrorists. Do not let them off the hook, folks. Be mean-spirited if you must. If they're resistant to facts, fucking call them an economic terrorist. I'm done with the placating these people that slow play our fucking demise as the world starts fucking up. I want to drink some clean water, and I got a lot of kids I want to make sure they can too. I mean, folks, this is straight. This is serious. This is the kind of stuff that if you don't get it down now, when we get our free and fair elections, you're going to get some dipshit that thinks the United States has been broke since 1934 when we got off the gold standard. You're going to be dealing with these idiots. I mean, folks, I'm talking about the epitome of stupid, full metal stupid. These people are so fucking stupid, so much an economic terrorist, that they would sit there and try and say that because we're not on the gold standard, that the United States is bankrupt. Fucking morons. The United States is a currency issuer. It creates its own money. We don't borrow US dollars from China. Guess why China buys bonds? Do you think it's to fund our government because we're out of US dollars? God, hey, Billy, did you run out of some of those keystrokes? Yeah, Joey, we ran out of keystrokes. Dude's fingers are down to a nub. He can't even hit the keys anymore. Fuck. God, we really are broke now. God damn it. Ah, shit, Billy, do we have anybody in the wings that's got fingers left that can keystroke dollars? No? God damn, the U.S. is going down in flames. The coming economic collapse just happened. We ran out of fingers to keystroke shit. I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you, you guys love and like and listen to a lot of so-called progressives out there that don't know their ass from their elbow. I mean, literally, they're economic illiterati, and they run around hair on fire talking about all kinds of shit. They are not to be listened to. They're fucking morons. I'm not even joking. And they don't want to learn to ignore this stuff. They purposely ignore. They have no interest in being right. None. Zip, zero, zilch. None. They would just rather keep marching in place. You get a good groove to it. Get a double step, boom, 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 boom. And they just keep going wrong, wrong, wrong. And they don't care. They do not care. It's boring to them. It's like watching paint dry grass grow. It's watching some young kid pick his boogers for fun. They don't care about economics. And we need people to care about this stuff because this is what the right wing uses when it comes time for, you know, the debt ceiling. Think about this, guys. The debt ceiling. Okay? This is what they do. And this is the stuff that is going to make it so that when they try to push forward a balanced budget amendment, these buffoons within the fucking progressive movement will say, yeah, we shouldn't be in debt to the Fed. But remember, China buys treasury bonds. We owe them lots of money, don't we? China parked their fucking dollars in U.S. currency to facilitate trade. That is our national assets. If they release that money, man, all of a sudden we have got an economic boom you couldn't even fantasize about. Okay? I mean, straight dope. Russia just bought $100 million in U.S. treasuries. Any idea why? They wanted to save. China bailed us out. China doesn't bail us out of anything. It's a joke. That's a crock. China doesn't bail us out of anything. We are the currency issuer. China buys U.S. treasuries to facilitate their own treasury. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. They sit there and they park their dollars and buy treasuries, and they earn a very, very small amount of interest. But they don't bail out anybody. Neither did the Russians when they bought treasuries. What happens? Our Federal Reserve tries to protect a positive interest rate. And the tool that the Federal Reserve has to get a positive interest rate defended is selling treasuries to remove currency from the fucking economy. That's it. We don't fund government by selling treasuries. We don't do that, guys. In fact, our government purposely leaves a certain amount of people intentionally, unwillingly, involuntarily unemployed to keep away inflation because they don't fucking understand their own monetary system. My name's Steve Grumba, and I'm the founder of Real Progressives. In any event, it's so important that you guys learn this stuff. I have an MBA. I have a Master of Science in Technology Management. I've been in international finance. I have done so many things. I had to unlearn almost everything because all the textbooks teach you economics from 1971 before. They teach you gold standard monetarism. They do not teach you the proper economics once we left the gold standard in 34 and once we left the Bretton Woods Accord in 71. They don't teach you this shit. And I went around, when I got my MBA, I thought my shit didn't stink. I still, whatever, right? We all have our own problems, right? But in the bottom line here is that I really thought I knew my shit. I took all my classical economic training. I learned all this shit. You're not teaching me anything, gang. That's the deal, man. I learned this shit. I used to be a Ron Paul guy. I was a gold standard and the Fed guy. I learned all that horrible, worthless logic. I read terrible blogs like Global Research and shit like that, and Zero Hedge and all the other nonsense. I used to go to InfoWars. You're not telling me shit. I get it, man. I broke free of loserdom. I stopped listening to worthlessness. I couldn't stand to be a part of worthless anymore. The end the Fed folks make me sick to my stomach because they are so ignorant. The Fed doesn't have stacks of money. The Fed can't create net financial assets. The Fed requires an act of Congress to create new net financial assets. But yet, what about the fractional reserve system? What about it? Ended in 1934, doesn't exist. What about it? What is exactly you want to do with the fractional reserves? Oh, wait, you don't understand? This is just something you heard from Ron Paul? Peter Schiff, 3 a.m.? What? Oh, shit, you don't know what you're talking about. Got it. All right, we're good. Fractional reserve system does not exist. Loanable funds theory, DOA, dead. Banks don't lend reserves. Banks make debt, these IOUs. They assume the debt. They'll take the car as collateral. When you pay off your debt, guess what happens? It zeroes out. They don't make any net financial assets. If this doesn't make any sense, look up on Google, because I can't give you all of it, but look up the term net financial assets. Okay? The bottom line is the U.S. can only create new ones with an act of Congress, and Congress refuses to do its job. So you could have the greatest election system ever, but if the people don't understand that they can have nice things today, if we, the people, don't demand that we have, and folks, what I'm saying, you could have single payer, green energy, paid family and medical leave. You could have all of this stuff now, free college debt relief, you name it, right fucking now. And the only way we don't have it is if you sit there and you peddle bullshit lies, Goldbug, Ron Paul, bullshit lies, evil, sick lies, perversion. I would say this is a greater lie than George W. Bush's aluminum rods in Iraq. That's how big a lie this is. Do you know how many people have died from austerity created in the lie that the United States is broke? Do you have any idea how many people have died from being in the cold or being without food or being without medical attention? Do you want to know how many people have died from fucking forced austerity? You want to talk about Bush's fucking wars and shit like that? They were horrible, no question about it. Evil, sick lies. But you want to talk about a sicker lie? Every motherfucker out there that talks about debt and deficits, that sits there and talks about the Federal Reserve and all this other bullshit, doesn't know what they're talking about, that perpetuates the austerity in this nation, that is killing people every day? Yeah, that's right. You're a fucking murderer. Oh, did he drop some straight dope there, huh? Yeah, Grumbine went off the top rope with the elbow and said, "Raw! Fuck the fucking Austerians. Fuck the cutters. Fuck the people that say we gotta pinch pennies. Fuck every one of them. Fuck them in the eyeball. I'm serious. This is serious shit. People are literally dying. The smile left my face the minute we started talking about lives. There is no humor to be had with people dying because of us lying about finance. Lying. And some people that we know and love. Some people that we know and love continue this lie as well. People are dying every day based on how you're going to pay for it. Remember Hillary when she said Bernie Sanders' plans were pie in the sky? How are you going to pay for it? I'm going to fucking keystroke some doobage into fucking existence. That's how I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to sign a bill and it's going to be paid for. Why? Because the Federal Reserve does exactly what Congress tells it to do. Down to the fucking nth. We save lives or we stop pretending we're revolutionaries. We save lives and we fight for economic truth or we stop saying we're a fucking progressive revolutionary. You're a liar, a charlatan, a fucking murderer if you don't get it. I'm not joking. I'm done fucking around. Pretty serious shit, isn't it? The turning point. I'm glad you asked that, William. So I hung around with people like Warren Mosler and a bunch of others that were the actual ones that created modern monetary theory. I used to sit there and debate with them. And they took lots of time with me one-on-one explaining because they saw the sparks were firing. They just saw I had some faulty logic. So they sat there with me and they taught me this stuff. And I had to go through an incredible amount of unlearning and learning, relearning. And now I speak as one with years and years and years of experience of fighting this war. And it is finally to the point now where people are listening and paying attention because people want the Bernie Sanders agenda. They want the Jill Stein agenda, but they don't know how to pay for the Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders agenda. And that's where Steve Grumbine comes in. I fucking do. I'll beat the snot out of Bobby Reich for lying about taxes funding spending. I'll take down Paul Krugman with a straight right hook. I'll take them all down because the fact is they're murderers by proxy. Joanne, you exactly right. It is exactly like unlearning a religion. Once you understand how simple this is, once you understand how simple this shit is, and you realize that they're doing it on purpose, every law governing the dollar, every single law governing the dollar is man-made. Every single law ungoverning the dollar could be man-made as well. We can do what we want. We can demand. But the question is, will you do it? Or are you going to sit back and let them continue to starve the poor, starve the elderly, fucking keep medical care away from people in desperate need, allow them to go bankrupt over their medical needs? Are you willing to be the one that does that? Because I can tell you, it requires us being very confident, very united, and very purposeful in our next actions. We cannot sit back and let this stuff happen and expect them to do it for us. It's up to us. And people say, but what about election fraud? What about the, you know what? We got to fight multiple battles at once, guys and gals. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to be any easy downtime. It's just going to be a daily grind of freaking knocking walls down and enlightening people. It's going to be a daily grind, making this shit happening. Every single one of us must step up and get rid of, I don't feel like it. Oh, it's too boring. I don't want to learn that shit. Guys, I will make it fun for you as much as I can. That's why I do the things the way I do them. Because Warren, Mosler, Kelton, and all those folks, good, very sweet, kind people. Every last one of them, down to the nth, are good, kind people. But guess what? They did not do it in a very exciting fashion. They sat there and said it. They would sit there in these folding chairs along the line with a big long table with a little shitty projector in the background with a really bad microphone talking about things that nobody really cared about or understood. And it took people like me and others, many smarter than me, okay, to sit there and break this shit down and say, that's what they meant. Fuck. How can I be so stupid? And now all of a sudden the beauty of these live streams allows us to take this stuff and break it down into terminology that regular people understand. And I'm not the best at it, folks. I just happen to be the most committed. Okay? I just happen to be committed to doing this. And I want you guys to get the fever too, because it saves lives. What happens if Nina Turner, God forbid, Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard, or let's say Jill Stein, or any of these other, any of them that you like, goes up there and runs for office, and all of a sudden they're out there saying, well, we got to raise taxes to pay for this. We got to raise taxes for income inequality. Taxes for income inequality are a barrier to progress, not because we shouldn't tax the shit out of the rich. It's because we need to stop the suffering now. And if we go ahead and we stop the suffering now, we can worry about sensible tax policy later that takes away more from the wealthy so that there's a purpose to it. Right now, if taxes are deleted, you're not doing anything, and they're going to fight you, they're going to resist you, and they're going to stop us from getting Medicare for all. They're going to stop us from getting green energy. They're going to stop us from getting freaking student debt relief, you name it. Every one of these grand proposals can be done without raising a single nickel in taxes. That's the thing. And then we can, instead of having a budget constraint, we can flip it around to an inflation constraint by pegging the value of the dollar to labor with a federal job guarantee that provides living wages and living benefits. You want to unfuck the system? I just gave you the blueprint. You want to go ahead and keep talking about fight for 15 instead of a federal job guarantee? Knock yourself out. Do what you gotta do. But I'm telling you right now, playing small ball isn't going to help. Playing small ball isn't going to help. You need a federal job guarantee to forever end involuntary unemployment and forever take away the power of destitution that the capitalists and rentiers and all the others have over our lives. A federal job guarantee with all the benefits. Now all of a sudden, if private sector wants to hire us, they know what the benchmark is. They've got to meet or beat the federal job guarantee to get us out of it. Folks, I'm telling you, if you keep playing small ball, if you keep going with the flow, going along to get along, instead of rising up and being a real fucking revolutionary, you're going to keep getting what you keep getting. I promise you. You're going to keep getting what you keep getting, and there'll be no one to blame but that ugly face staring you back in the mirror. I'm serious, gang. That's the deal, man. The beautiful face for some of you. Bottom line. And I'm going to end on this. We've got to fight for elections. We got to fight to have fair elections. We got to have fight. We got to fight to get our electoral system fixed. We got to fight like mad to get the duopoly taken down so we can have multiple parties involved. We got to explore all kinds of different voting ways. I know that the Green Party's heavy into ranked choice voting, but there are other ways that are better. And we need to explore them. And we need to do it now. We need to take all these issues that we're saying. We need to make people realize that we could have green energy today. And we got to take the stigma away from subsidies, because if you really believe that we're near an event horizon for an environmental catastrophe with mass extinction, then you've got to do something drastic now. And it doesn't have to be we all go wear Birkenstock and go run around in the fucking forest foraging for fucking grub worms. Okay? That's not what it means. What it means is that we take and we get rid of the things that are killing us now by making our Congress act on our behalf. And if they don't, then you get the pitchforks, then you get the torches, then you fucking say, hey, what was that, constitutional amendment, Second Amendment, did you say? Yeah, whatever, okay? But in the meantime, let's use our brains. Let's have a cerebral revolution, okay? Let's have a cerebral one. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Join us tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to have Ellis Winningham on as usual. You get there a hell of a lot more about modern monetary theory. So with that, have a great night, everybody. I'll talk to you later.